Right, so hey guys, what's going on? My name is Alex here with Alex's Tech, and today we are taking a look at the Apple Watch. Now, there's so many things I could talk about with this watch, but what I'm going to do is separate my list into the good, bad, and the ugly, and we're going to go over the last 2 weeks I've had with this watch on my wrist, and I'm going to tell you guys what I have found out, what I love, what I hate, and what I think is ugly. So let's get straight to this. So first off, let's start out with the bad. I know you guys are going to want to criticize me for wearing this thing on my wrist, so we're going to start out with the bad and get that over and done with. So when I first unboxed the watch, you guys can check out the unboxing video, I'll drop a link in the description, but when I first unboxed the watch and put it on, I wasn't actually receiving text message notifications or iMessage notifications on my watch, and I went online, did a little bit of research, and it turns out a few other people were having the same issue. To get around this, what you had to do was actually go into the Apple Watch app on your phone and change around a few settings and then restart the Apple Watch. So that was my first issue with the watch, which was the first day I was getting it, and I wasn't getting text message notifications, which is kind of ridiculous in my eyes. This watch is all about notifications, moving the notifications from your phone to your wrists, and if you're not getting a notification for your text, then what's the point? And my next big gripe with this watch is Siri. Now, Siri is absolutely awesome. Siri and I have a love-hate relationship. Most of the time, Siri is absolutely awesome, an absolute godsend. I wouldn't get this watch if it didn't have Siri, let's put it that way. But sometimes Siri can be a little bit annoying and not work. I mean, I've tried to get some B-roll for you guys of Siri totally not working, but every time I've tried to shoot some B-roll of this watch where Siri hasn't been working, it's just worked 100%. So as you can see, Siri not working, it's a very uncommon thing, but it does happen, and sometimes it really is annoying if you're in one of those sticky situations, like if you're driving and you need to send a text and you're trying to use Siri and it's just not working. Now, another stupid thing about this watch, and this watch is all about notifications. I don't really know why you'd want to put music on the watch when it's connected to your phone all the time, but I've tried to sync some music to this watch and then play the music through some Bluetooth headphones. I was unable to do this. Apparently you're meant to be able to do this, I just couldn't do it. The watch kept trying to play the music from my phone. When I turned Bluetooth off on my phone, it was still trying to play it from the phone. It said the phone wasn't available. When I had synced some music to the watch, which is quite annoying, I'm not 100% sure how that works, but that is a major issue. If people have wanted to go out for a run without their phone, they're going to struggle syncing music to this thing, because I have, and I just could not get it to work. Now, the other major gripe with this thing is photos. Why the hell you want to view photos on your wrist is beyond me. But Apple have gone ahead and put that feature in, so thank you very much. But it would be good if it was at least half decent. So what you can do with the Apple Watch is let it sync your favourite photos. So it's when I got my Apple Watch, it synced all my favourite photos absolutely fine. But I wanted to put some other photos on here. So what did I do? I went on my iPhone and I favorited these photos. But they didn't appear on the Apple Watch for some bizarre reason, and they still haven't appeared on there now, which is kind of annoying. I'm sure this is just a bug, or a few bugs that Apple need to work out. This is the first OS for watch. We've seen the WWDC keynote yesterday, and Apple have already announced that there's a new firmware coming for the watch. So along with some new features, hopefully it should come with a firmware update. Right, so now let's move on to the good. So let's just get things straight. This is a watch. It wouldn't be worth any money if it didn't tell the time. Now, this thing is perfect. With the first week when I wore it, I would look at my wrist to get the time, but I would just be sidetracked as to how freaking gorgeous this thing is, and I just would forget about the time. I would just, what's the time? I'd look at it and be like, oh my god, I'm wearing an Apple Watch, then put the watch back down and I wouldn't have even read the time. Now, that was the first week that I had it. In the second week, I sort of got to grips. I know that I'm wearing an Apple Watch, so now I do lift my wrist and look at the time. Now, the custom watch faces are pretty awesome. I really like it that I could just change the watch faces by doing a hard press on my wrist, swiping across, and having a look at all the different watch faces. And the best thing about it is, yes, there's watch faces, but each one is customizable. So you can put your own information. You can have things like the sunset, the battery life, your activity monitor on your watch face, or you can just have a simple watch face with just the time on it and nothing else if you're one of those elegant people. So really good props to Apple for including loads of different watch faces, and the customization is just far beyond any other watch that I've seen. Now, the next thing that is absolutely awesome is the display on this watch. It's a Retina display covered by sapphire. Oh shit, I need to take this. Now, next up is the display on this bad boy. Now, I've got the Apple Watch. I didn't go for the Sport. I went for the full whack. I went for the actual Apple Watch, which is covered in a sapphire crystal glass display. And this thing is absolutely gorgeous. You cannot see any pixels, even if you try and look close up to the watch. This thing is absolutely gorgeous. And the way Apple have engineered the screen on this thing, it looks like the actual display wraps around the edges of the screen, when it really doesn't. The screen is only just a square. And the way Apple have done this is they have made it so that the clock does not bleed over onto the edge of the display. Now, it's really hard for you guys to understand without actually seeing this thing in person, but the screen just looks absolutely awesome, and it looks like a curved OLED display when really it isn't. It's just a square display on a curved bit of glass. And talking about the edge to edge of this glass, you can actually scroll like down menus and things on the actual side of the display, which is quite satisfying. Now, this is why you would buy an Apple Watch. Notifications. Now, notifications are the whole point of a smartwatch. A smartwatch is meant to move the notifications from your phone or from your device onto your watch, so you can easily get your notifications without having to fumble with your phone, which is a massive issue for me because I have an iPhone 6 Plus and it's massive, and it is quite a ball ache to get it out your pocket every time you get a text. So it's really convenient to get them up on your wrist. Now, I've been getting my Twitter notifications through, my phone calls, my texts, and it's absolutely awesome when you're driving. There you go, just got a notification right now, Snapchat's going off. So when you're driving, I find I can look like this and look at the text as I'm driving, and then I can reply to the text using Siri, and Siri's voice recognition is by far the best I've ever seen. Siri's voice recognition on the watch is better than the phone, in my opinion. There's been very few times when Siri has misunderstood what I'm saying when I've been replying to someone in text. Now, that's just texting. You guys know you can do all of these silly drawings and send your love heart to different people that also have Apple Watches as well. Now, I've got a friend who's also got an Apple Watch, and only this morning was I able to test out these features, and I have to say, when someone sends their love heart to you, it really does feel like a love heart on your wrist. It's really weird. Like, you've got to feel it to understand it, but the haptic engine inside this watch that deals with all the tapping of the wrist when you get a notification or when someone sends you a heartbeat, it's just phenomenal, and it really does feel like someone just taps you on the wrist, or it feels like there's a heart actually on your wrist. It's quite a surreal feeling, and you've got to wear one of these watches to really understand it, but it is absolutely incredible. So I know a lot of you are going to be talking about battery life. Alex, what the hell is the battery life like on this watch? And as you probably heard a lot of other people say, it is really good, which is quite surprising for an Apple product, taking shots here. However, if I have to charge this thing overnight, wake up in the morning about 9 o'clock, go out, come back about 6 o'clock, and absolutely hammer this thing and use it all the time in the day, I'll come back with about 40% battery life, which is absolutely awesome. And the power save mode is even better. I can put this thing on power save mode and leave it on my bedside table and wake up and it will still be on 40% the next morning. Like, it won't use any battery in power save mode. This thing is incredible, and you could go through 2 days easily with this watch if you used it correctly. Now, another big thing is waterproof. Have you tested out this watch in water? And yes, I have, and it passed with flying colours. I was testing it out in the hot tub yesterday. I was dunking the watch in boiling water in the hot tub, pulling it back out, and it was still fully functioning even under the water. So I think Apple have made this thing pretty watertight. I think this thing is waterproof, but Apple don't want to say it's waterproof just in case. I think this is a just in case matter, that Apple don't want to say it's waterproof just in case anything happens to the watch. But, you know, there's been videos where people have gone swimming with the watch, taking it to water parks. I'll leave a few links in the description and you can check out their videos. But this thing is fully waterproof. In my opinion, anyway. I wouldn't wear it in the bath, but I would take a shower with this thing and wash my hands with it, and I know it will be absolutely fine. Now for the last thing, the design. This thing is just drop dead gorgeous. So as you can see, I got the leather loop on my watch, and it's really easy to take on and put off. And the reason I got the leather loop, it was the same amount of money as the metal loop, but I got the leather one just because I do a lot of sport. I go to the gym a lot, and I thought, I want to have a nice looking watch, but I also want to be able to wear it around the gym and when I go running, and I want it to be comfortable. This thing is light. This thing is lighter than my G-Shock, which I've been wearing G-Shocks all my life. This thing's lighter than my G-Shock, and it feels really nice to wear. I've got the 42mm version right here. and it just feels absolutely gorgeous, and it feels like a premium product, which any Apple product does, to be honest. One really cool feature I'm going to talk about right now, which has saved my ass quite a few times, is you are allowed to ping your phone from your watch. Watch this footage. Right, so perfect example. I currently can't find my phone and I want to put some music on. One amazing feature of the Apple Watch is you can actually ping your phone from the watch itself. So if you slide up and go into your notification view, you can see you get a nice little icon here, and if you press that, hopefully in the background somewhere in the house, we should be able to hear. Oh, I can hear it. We're somewhere over here. We're somewhere over here. Let's ping it again. Somewhere in here. Right. Ping it again. We're somewhere in here. Right, I think there we are. Right? And one other cool thing is, say if your phone was upside down, if you double press it, so if you press and hold maybe, it makes the light flash on the iPhone, which is an absolutely awesome feature if you're in a dark room like this. Now, talking about sport and the heart rate monitor, I'm not a massive sporty guy. I go to the gym, go running sometimes, but I have been using this thing in the gym, and it is able to monitor my heart rate fairly accurately, and it provides me with the amount of calories I've burned when I go running, GPS information. It pretty much is a full-blown fitness watch, like a Fitbit, but also built into the Apple Watch. You could easily use this thing for sport of any activity. If you're in the gym, it can count your reps. If you're running, obviously it will give you your time, your calories burned, how far you've gone. And you can even set goals, and you can do so much stuff with it. But I don't want to go into things like that because I don't want to give you guys wrong information, because I'm not a fitness type of guy. So I don't want to go out giving the fitness heavy people wrong information. I'm sure there's loads of other videos on YouTube that will talk about the Apple Watch and fitness as a package. Right, so that is the good things that I've come across in my time spent with the Apple Watch. Now, let's talk about the ugly. Now, this is where things get a little bit annoying for me. Now, the first thing I'm going to talk about is this thing. This thing scratches, and if I look and inspect closely on my watch around the edges, not on the sapphire crystal display, but the actual metal edges of the watch, I can see lots of tiny little scratches. Now, I've only been wearing this thing for 2 weeks, and that concerns me. Now, there's loads of other videos on YouTube, people explaining, the Apple Watch is scratching, and therefore, people have made fixes for this. I'm going to drop a link in the description to a video that Dom has done. But he's actually done a thing where he bought this special paste, and if you rub it on the watch, magically, it gets rid of the scratches. So check out his video if you're having any issues with that. Second thing, that price tag though. Now this thing set me back £770. Now with that, I also got Apple Care. Now Apple Care is a must with an Apple Watch. This thing is a watch, it's on your wrist, you can smash it, you could break it, you could drop it, anything could happen with this. It's exposed to the elements at all times when it's on your wrist. Now, you need to get Apple Care with this thing if you're going to get an Apple Watch, in my opinion. Now, with Apple Care, covers accidental damage, water damage, everything. I could literally take this watch off, smash it on the table, go to the Apple Store and say I've dropped it. They will replace that watch for me there and then with the same model. So Apple Care for an extra £100 on top of the price tag of this watch is a must in my opinion, and I feel a lot more safe knowing that I have Apple Care for the next 2 years. So if anything happens to this thing, I can just walk into any Apple store and get a brand new one, walk out with a brand new one, which is absolutely awesome. So, all in all, to round this bad boy up, it's a very, very nice timepiece, and it's absolutely gorgeous. There's not many games and stuff you can get on this, but you don't really want to be playing games on your watch. It tells the time gorgeously. You can tell the time in any way you want it to tell the time. You've got all your notifications on your wrist, it's elegant, it works, it's beautiful, and it's a pleasure to wear, it really is. You've got to wear one to really understand what this watch is like to have on a daily basis, but it really is an aid to your smartphone. It is an aid to a smartphone. It can't replace the smartphone, it's an aid, but I think it's worth it. I really do. And that's it. That's been my review. If you are thinking about getting an Apple Watch, I think the Sport is definitely a good way to go. £350 is a pretty good price tag for the technology that this watch has to offer, and I don't think Apple are going to be updating this thing any soon with a new model. So if you're going to buy one, I'd get one now and get your monies out of it. Anyway, that's been it. My name's been Alex. You guys have been awesome, and I will see you in my next video. Adios.